All right. How is everybody doing? Um, so, I am going to go over an immigration policy, or I guess a certain way that people think that we should approach immigration in this country. Um, but first, we've been learning about immigration in this unit. It's probably apparent that we are a nation of immigrants, like talking about like in humanities when the first settlers came over to North America. Pretty much our entire country is built on immigration. And so it's always been a part of our country. And there's also always been people who have differing opinions on how we should handle immigration. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go over four different options for how to approach immigration or U.S. immigration policy. So I'm going to go over the first here. You do have this document, so if you want to follow along, please do, or if you want to make this video full screen. And we're going to start here. Again, option one: open ourselves to the world. So I'm going to read through this, and I'm going to try to stop and maybe clarify things that I would think might not be clear to you. But as always, if there's any questions here or anything that needs clarified, please go to your teacher's office hours and seek those clarifications, please, because I know that we'd love to see you anyway. All right, option one: open ourselves to the world. All right. At the beginning of the 21st century, the forces of globalization are rapidly creating a new world. International trade is steadily expanding while national borders are losing their significance. People, ideas, and goods traverse the globe in an ever accelerating pace. Okay. So that's just saying, like we are all interconnected, all these countries, like we trade so much, that like the people, ideas, and goods, like that we're just going from country to country and living different places, traveling different places, doing business different places, more and more and more. Okay, so we'll pick back up right here. In the world uh, of the future, the United States will stand out as a shining example. While rigid nationalism continues to hold back many countries, Americans can take pride in a heritage that promotes openness, tolerance, and diversity. Compared to our chief economic rivals in Japan and Western Europe, the United States is poised to compete in the international marketplace. American movies, music, fashion, and brand names are attractive to people throughout the world because they symbolize a culture that embraces and celebrates many cultures. Immigration puts our country in touch with tastes and preferences of consumers worldwide and gives U.S. companies an edge in opening export markets. So this is basically just talking about the economic benefits of having as many different cultures, perspectives, and peoples of different nationalities in our country. All right, starting the second paragraph. From its earliest days, the United States has been a land of opportunity for people outside our borders. Okay, literally, unless you were a Native American, everybody, from the earliest settlers, came to this land for that opportunity, and they were from outside of the borders initially. Each wave of immigrants has contributed to the United States' greatness and enriched our society. Today, immigrants are still coming. This latest generation of immigrants contains the best and brightest from a rich variety of cultures and regions. Even those lacking a formal education are driven by a strong sense of initiative and an unshakable work ethic. They have come because they believe the United States is the land of opportunity. They recognize that the United States rewards hard work and ability like no other country in the world. In the end, the talents, ambitions, and dreams they bring will benefit all Americans. Keeping our doors open lets the world know the United States remains a country that looks forward to tomorrow. All right, so I should have said this already, but I want to say it now. That remember these options, they are different people's opinions on what the policies of the United States should be towards immigration, and that your teachers, that we are not endorsing any of these. We're going to be showing you these four very different views of how immigration should be, in the hopes that you're going to kind of like take bits and pieces and just listen to these, and then you can come to your own conclusion about what your opinion is as to what our immigration policy should be. And you don't have to choose just one of these four options. You can pick and choose from these options, like the different parts of them, to make what you think would be the best policy for immigration in our country. All right, so we'll pick up back here again. What policies should we pursue? Okay. And this is according to this opinion. Option 1, open ourselves to the world. So the policies according to this option 1 that we should pursue are: remove bureaucratic obstacles to the immigration process that keep family members apart. So that means bureaucratic obstacles means, like waiting in line, like all of the requirements, all of the paperwork, all of the laws, that can slow down or prevent people from coming to the country. Next, allow people worldwide with a legitimate fear of persecution the full protection of U.S. refugee and asylum laws. So this means that any people who have a fear of violence or persecution in another country, they should be able to come to this country, and should not be stopped if they have a legitimate fear of that persecution, of that danger. Third, adjust immigration laws to permit greater immigration from countries such as China and Mexico that have been the victims of unfair restrictions in the past. Provide immigrants with more opportunities, job training, and English language instruction to speed their adjustments to American life. Ensure that everyone in the United States, including illegal immigrants, have access to education, basic health care, and other essential services. So option 1, it's based on these following beliefs. 1, that America is still a young and vigorous country with room to grow. So this option is saying that we have room. We can take on more people. The other belief, America's strength lies in its diversity, particularly in the fresh ideas and cultures provided by new immigrants. So it's saying diversity, that, like, the more diverse our population, the more different we are, that is to our benefit. And last, immigration does not unduly threaten our national security. So it's saying, that like people coming in from other countries, that doesn't make us less safe. So the arguments for this option 1. Welcoming new immigrants into our country will inject valuable skills into the U.S. economy and enable American culture to maintain the rich diversity that appeals to consumers the world over. So basically just saying that, the more immigrants that we have in our country, that they're going to bring their skills here that will help our economy, and then also will help our culture by adding to our diversity, adding to all the different types of people and skills that we have here. Next, argument 4, renewing the United States' long tradition of offering opportunity and refuge for immigrants will earn the United States respect and admiration from people throughout the world. Okay, so again, like it's saying that we're taking in people who do not feel safe. So it's good to have, like it's saying, it's good to have the admiration and respect of the rest of the world for doing this. Last, argument 4, immigrants will take advantage of their ties to their native countries to open up new export markets for American products. So again, like say, take an example. If a Chinese immigrant comes in the United States, it's saying that they're going to have ties to China, and that people who still live in China, they're going to want to buy more things from the United States due to this Chinese immigrant being in our country. All right, so now the arguments against this option 1. So first, if immigration continues at its current pace, more than 50 million newcomers will flood into the United States in the next half century, overloading our schools, hospitals, and other social services. That's self-explanatory. An open immigration policy will inevitably make it easier for would-be terrorists to enter the country undetected. High levels of immigration will deprive American workers of jobs while forcing the government to spend more on the needs of immigrants. Encouraging highly skilled workers to immigrate to the United States robs poor countries of their most valuable human resources. So I guess what that's saying is that, like if there are, doctors in Mexico and China, and we are attracting, those highly skilled doctors or lawyers from that other country, we're kind of taking the skills from those countries that they need there. Um, Opening our doors to unskilled immigrants at a time when the US economy offers them few opportunities will only add to our society's problems. High levels of immigration will push our country's population past tolerable limits and inflict still more harm on the country's environment. And lastly, the continual arrival of large numbers of immigrants, both legal and illegal, will eventually overwhelm American culture and contribute to the fragmentation of our society. Fragment, that means it's going to break apart our society. And it's saying if there's lots of like different cultures, then those different cultures will fragment, they'll separate, and it'll make our society, like less together and more separate. So, I hope that during this that you've kind of been evaluating these arguments for, arguments against, and you've kind of been evaluating the whole option, open ourselves up to the world, and kind of looked at what from that you agree with, what you don't. And then you'll be doing that again with 3 more options. So once you guys continue on with the Nearpod, you can always reference this video or the document that we went over as you are going through the rest of the Nearpod. All right. Bye-bye.